What's up, everybody? PokéKaos here, and today we are going to finally start with the openings of the 2016 World Championship decks. I love these things. These are really cool. It's a good start if you don't know like how to play the game necessarily, or if you really want to learn on how to build a competitive deck. So today we're gonna start off with the actual, like, the Masters winning deck. Normally you'd think that you'd want to finish off with the big winner coming from the Pokemon 2016 World Championships, but we've actually kind of already gone over this deck at one point. So this is just, you know, like the brackets and some of the deck profiles. This is a deck that's not actually that didn't get its own 2016 World deck. This is the junior second place, I'm assuming, with a Trevenant Break deck. We have, you know, some other things, another Trevenant Break. But this isn't really interesting. We want to see the deck itself and what makes this such a good deck. Now, first, of course, we do have the San Francisco 2016 World Championship pin. We want to get out these extra cards because we want to put everything together just right. I want to make sure that everything is together in a sense that I can show you guys just what the deck is all about without having to have like doubles all over the place. So might make a bit of a cut here and just come back with the deck in one piece. So yeah, we'll probably go ahead and do that real quick, and I will see you guys in a second. Okay, so we're back. The deck is nice and in order, and the camera is dying. So first up we have Audino EX, which is, you know, your main EX, and one of the things that I feel is a problem with a lot of decks nowadays, this deck has 4 Audino EXs, and in a lot of mega decks that I see, people will do 3 of the main Pokemon, and I really think that 4 helps a whole lot. Helps with consistency, you know, keeping as many in your deck rather than in your prizes as possible. Has Drain Slap and Do the Wave. Do the Wave is good enough if you really need to use it, but of course you want to be able to attack with Mega Audino, and there's 3 of them in this deck, and it has the attack matchable. Symphony does 110, and if you played a supporter card from your hand during this turn, you can do 50 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. We also have Magearna EX with its Mystic Heart ability. Prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any metal energy attached to it. And then we get to our more useful support Pokemon, Shaman, with the setup ability. Of course, when you play this Pokemon from your hand, you can draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Then we have Hoopa to search out any EXs we need. Scoundrel Ring allows you to search for 3 Pokemon EX, except for Hoopa, and put them into your hand. And for a non-EX attacker, we have Cobalion with Revenge Blast, does 30 plus 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. And then as a tech card, we have Absol with the ability Cursed Eyes, when you play this Pokemon from your hand, you can move 3 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one of his or her Pokemon, which could score you an interesting knockout. Could allow you to take 4 prizes in one turn rather than just 2 or 1 with Mega Audino. So that is the Pokemon lineup. We'll go over the supporters next, see what supporters are in a deck that, wins tournaments. So first up, we have the standard 4 Professor Sycamores. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Obvious, best, supporter you can use. You're gonna see at least 3 in every deck. We have 2 ends. Shuffle your hand. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck. Okay, so when your camera is telling you that the battery's dying, that should tell you to just not record instead of, oh hey, maybe I can get through an entire deck. So we left off at the N, where you have 2 of, and normally I think a lot of people run 3 ends in a deck, but I can understand why you would only have 2 in a deck. Does the same thing whether you or your opponent plays it. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck, and then they each draw cards for their remaining prize cards. I can understand why you'd have 2, because it's not super helpful towards the end of the game when you only have like 1 or 2 prize cards left. So up next we have Lysander, which we have 2. Switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with one of his or her active Pokemon. Very good card. It takes a Shaman off the bench and puts it into the active position, which then, especially in this deck, you can easily one-hit KO with Magical Symphony, doing 110 damage, and then putting an extra 50 on something else that's on the bench. It's a very standard, very easy card to understand. So this next card that we're going to get into is the first card that, as of the World Championships, this was a standard card, but is now in the expanded format, and that is AZ. This was from Phantom Forces and was never reprinted. Put one of your Pokemon into your hand, discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. This was super useful for cards like Shaman, cards like Hoopa, even Absol it could have been used on. If you want to reuse their ability, you could put them back into your hand and then play them right back on the bench. Again, with Hoopa, you would be able to search for 3 more Pokemon, 3 more EXs. Shaman, you'd be able to draw more cards. Absol, you'd be able to move more damage counters. And we do have 2 AZs. I know it's kind of hard to see right there. So now we have 3 one-of supporters. First is Hex Maniac, which shuts off the abilities of all Pokemon until the end of your opponent's next turn. We have Pokemon Center Lady, which heals 60 damage and removes all special conditions from one of your Pokemon. This is a very underrated card in my opinion. First of all, it is a supporter, so it activates Mega Audino's Magical Symphony of being able to do 50 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Also, it allows you to live a little bit longer, which is super helpful. And of course, if you're paralyzed, poisoned, confused, I don't want to say burned because burn hasn't been in the standard format in forever, it would get rid of those special conditions. And the last one is another card that is now in the expanded format rather than the standard format. Xerosic, you choose a Pokemon tool or special energy card attached to a Pokemon, yours or your opponent's, and you discard it. Now in the standard format, we don't have any good ways of removing tool cards at all. So now we're going to get to the items. And it is a very thick part of the deck. So first things first is, again, something that I don't think a lot of people do in their mega decks. Mostly because they only run a 3/3 line. And that is having 4 of the Spirit Links. Again, this prevents you from having only 3 Spirit Links and having one of them prized. So you'll only ever end up getting 2. This allows you to have the maximum number non-prized that you need, and also you can, if you don't need any and something is just taking place in your hand, you can throw it away with Ultra Ball and not worry about what you're getting rid of. And speaking of Ultra Ball, we of course have the next super standard 4 Ultra Balls. Discard 2 cards from your hand and search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. You get your Shaman, your Hoopa, your Mega Audino, your Magearna, whatever you want. Up next is another super standard VS Seeker 4. Put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. Of course, it was in Phantom Forces, which did rotate out of standard, but it does have a secret rare version in Roaring Skies, which allows you to use the Phantom Forces version still. And again, standard 4 Trainer's Mails. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a trainer card that is not Trainer's Mail and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. You mostly always want at least 3 of those. So now we will get into some of the less standard stuff. First off, we have Floatstone. You never want to have Hoopa in your active position. You never want to have Magearna in your active position. You never want to have Absol in your active position. Shaman. You're going to attach one of these at least to Hoopa for sure. The other one, everything else has 1 or 2 retreat cost, except for the Audinos and Mega Audinos, but those you do want in your active position. Those you want attacking. So we have 2 Floatstones for that. Up next, we have 4 one-ofs. First off, we have Mega Turbo. You can attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your Mega Pokemon. Of course, putting up an energy on Mega Audino is super helpful. You have Startling Megaphone, which again is no longer in the standard format. It is expanded. This is another way to discard a tool card from your opponent's Pokemon. We have Super Rod, which allows you to shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck in case you need to get a Shaman back, any of the Audinos, or any of your basic energies. And Escape Rope, which allows, well, each player will switch their active with one of their benched Pokemon. Your opponent switches first, and if a player doesn't have any benched Pokemon, they don't switch. And then for stadiums, we have just 1 stadium. We have 2 parallel cities. Of course, this has 2 different effects. Choose which way this card faces. Any damage done by attacks from this player's Grass, Fire, or Water Pokemon is reduced by 20. We don't have any Grass, Fire, or Water Pokemon, so that side really wouldn't affect us at all. And this side is you can't have more than 3 benched Pokemon. So in this deck, you can play this either way. If you want to limit your opponent's bench, you play it like this. And if maybe they have Fire, Water, or Grass Pokemon, or maybe you just want to limit your own bench to get rid of Hoopas, Shamans, whatever, you would play it this way. Can be used either way. It's a very useful stadium card in all decks. And now, last but not least, we are down to our energy cards. First and foremost, in any deck that uses colorless attacks, you're going to have probably 4 double colorless energies. Easy to use on Mega Audino or Audino for Magical Symphony. If for some reason you need to attack with Magearna, Magearna takes a metal and 2 colorless. You can use it for Shaman and Sky Return, and that's about it. And then we also have 6 metal energies. 6 metal energies. Again, you need more than, you need 3 energies for Mega Audino, so you're going to have 1 metal energy and a double colorless. You need a metal and double colorless for Magearna if you're going to attack with it. and Cobalion does take 2 Metal Energies to attack with Revenge Blast. So this was the deck that did win the 2016 Masters World Championships. A lot of people, after it happened, called it, just luck or a fluke. But I really think this deck still kind of has the potential to do really good. Although we do have a few cards that are no longer in the format, being AZ, Xerosic, and Startling Megaphone. It still is a good deck and still can be very useful. I think at the end of all 4 of these decks, what I'm going to do is go over each and every one of them and point out all the similarities in each deck and show what cards are really what make decks work, rather than just what Pokemon is the best. Is Mega Audino the best Pokemon card? Not necessarily. There's other things that make the decks work better, and we'll go over those after we've gone through all 4 decks. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.